I was born off of 8 Mile in a little crib, and everybody off of 8 Mile, they did it like this. Yeah, come on, it's the Motor City Hustle. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, it's the Motor City Hustle. Yeah, yeah. Come on, come on, come on. The Motor City Hustle. Yeah. Yeah, we gonna do it like this. Let's go. Step to your left, step to your left. I step to your right, I step to your right. Back it on up, back it on up. Back it on up, back it on up. Now slide to your right, slide to your right. Slide to your left, I slide to your left. Now dance for me now, dance for me now. Dance for me now, dance for me now. Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, the Motor City Hustle. Come on, come on. Cause it's the song, get dance all night long. It's the ballroom, twirling fire on. Yeah, I'm on cause I'm feeling this song. You feeling this song, and it's on and on. You got the groove, and the groove is smooth. Shout out the keys, and you say please. Let's do it again. You my friend, what you drinking, what you thinking. The Motor City Hustle. It's the Motor City Hustle. It's the Motor City Hustle. Let's do it again. Step to your left, step to your left. I step to your right, I step to your right. Back it on up, back it on up. Back it on up, back it on up. I slide to your right, slide to your right. Slide to your left, I slide to your left. Now dance for me now, dance for me now. Dance for me now, dance for me now. Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, the Motor City Hustle. Come on, come on. Step to your left, step to your left. I step to your right, I step to your right. Back it on up, back it on up. Back it on up, back it on up. Now slide to your right, slide to your right. Slide to your left, I slide to your left. Now dance for me now, dance for me now. Dance for me now, dance for me now. Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, Motor City Hustle, the Motor City Hustle. Come on, come on.
Dance to the right. Let me see you move, girl, all night long. Dance to the left. Dance. Let me see you dance. Let me see you back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up all night, yeah. Let me see
Working,
you do it right.
again, working. The Motor City Hustle. Shouts out to kids. You hear me? It's coming soon off my Detroit Pistons, Lions, women that like to dance and all that. You know, I'm keeping it smooth because I'm off of 8 Mile with it, but real talk, you know. He putting it together for me. Yep, so we working. Money phone and moving, but it's a reality to me.
You know what time it is. It's time to turn up and pull up and pull up and turn up. Islam. Assalamu alaikum. What up, though? Como stars? Que pasa? Oh, it is very, very freezing outside, and I do mean freezing. My car said it was 1 degrees when I walked up in the studio. Hey, shout outs. Let's send some shout outs to Student Minister Troy Mohammed. And Savers Day is coming up. Look like it's February 22nd. Did you get a date for that? Anybody get a date for that? I believe we have a date. That's February 22nd. Is a great day. It is the holy day, Friday, for all Muslims all over the world. We're learning that we're going to continue to uplift falling humanity to the highest degree on love, true peace, freedom, and justice. And send some more shout outs to King Seven the News. I hope he gets well so we can see him in the studio soon. Sending love and divine love to my sister, my twin, Madam E, Tamika Long Bay. Oh, Islam, my fault, sister. It's Tamika Long Ill. Il is the creator. Bey is the governor. Ali is the God man. So let's keep it coming, keep it going to the highest degree. We are the angels, the gods and saviors, and we will learn to strive and perfect that. On this plane of manifestation, if you are a member or you are following All Well-Being, a Maxim, the Life, the Queen Hour, every Friday at 4 p.m. Let's do this. You can call in at 313-365-7379. That's 313-365-7379. This is where we turn up and pull up and pull up and turn up on 107.5 FM WGPR HD3. Sending love and shout outs to Sister Adi, the sister that does our flyers for the radio show. Shout outs to our mentor, Art Cartwright. So we can continue to work on our businesses where they give out grants and loans. They help you right there on 7 Mile and Losser at Global Empowerment. Sending love and divine love to all divine temples, noble temples, Moorish Science Temple of America. Sending love and shout outs to all that love the holy and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. All that is holy and divine. What up? Yes. We are going into more studying about the indigenous rights. The Moors have been declared and proclaimed for years now. It's going on years as the Aboriginal indigenous to the land. So you need to learn what your indigenous rights are. Now is the time to execute and utilize to the highest degree the indigenous rights of the people. Let's move forward. Come out of spells, trances, and lost in madness. Let's make some sense. Let's make something happen. We are in the Moorish Empire. All the names have been changed several times to keep you from being who you are. Now you know who you are. If you have proclaimed your nationality and birthright and know that you are a Moor, let's do this. Let's turn up and pull up and pull up and turn up. And we got my brother man here in the studio. What's going on, brother man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? It's Moore Ali. I'm back again. Been out of town, getting ready to go out of town again. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do this year. The only thing I can think of right now, I want to go to the Obama Presidential Center in June. And, one thing I've been thinking about as far as us as a people moving to the next level, it's a good subject, but sometimes I hate to talk about it kind of like all the time, and that's finances. But the word frugal, that's something that, I've talked to a few people and given them advice on being frugal, and it changes your life. It really does. Man, boy, I hate when you looking up something and it disappear on you. Bam, got it. Here we go. Is the practice of being economical, mindful, and resourceful with money and resources. And it says money, but I like the part how it also said resources, because that's the other stuff that we got to get into. To reduce waste and maximize value, it involves living simply, prioritizing long-term financial health over instant gratification, and often overlaps the minimalizing by focusing on needs rather than luxuries. Key benefits include saving money for future goals, reducing debt, and gaining financial independence. Common frugal practice: budgeting and planning. Create a budget, tracking expenses, and planning meals to avoid waste. Intentional spending: shopping at thrift stores, using coupons, buying in bulk, and repairing items instead of replacing them. Energy efficient: lowering utility bills by instantly by installing LED lights or reducing heating, cooling usage. And then DIY, do-it-yourself home projects and all that kind of stuff. But,
Wow.
you know, for us, going to the next level and being frugal will always be a part of that, because as you look at your resources and what are you wasting here, what could you do better on this or that, as far as renting a car or your phone service or bundling different things, bundling your finances. It's just so many things that intake. And going into another year, which we'll do every year, we also always have to take time every couple of months. A lot of people are going to be doing their taxes, and you're going to be getting a nice check back. Use that check and to get you to the next level of just living better. And when I mean living better, I ain't saying you going out there buying this and buying that, but paying that off, and then this year now you got $200 more a month or $300 a month. You know, a friend of mine he was telling me he got like $20,000 just sitting in his savings. And he said, man, it's been sitting there for 3 years. I haven't had to touch it. And I said, man, you're doing pretty good, because if you have a problem that's $20,000 or less, I said it's nothing for you to handle it. And a lot of people are trying to be this big time millionaire or something, but everything has to happen in levels. It's a reason why I call generational wealth, because each generation pass on something, and the best thing they can pass on to you is the knowledge of what they've learned to help you. Because I look at my children in their 20s, and then when I see them come in a situation, and I say, okay, this is what you should do, and this is, how I dealt with a situation like that. They don't have to go out there and learn the hard knocks and the hard lesson. In some cases they do, because, hey, y'all know, like I know, they don't listen. But sometimes they do. It's shocking every time they do. And then they be like, oh, I see what you, usually it's like a year or two later, then they say, oh, I see what you was talking about. I'll be like, yes, because you can do something. You can go to school today and you can get all A's in the month of January. But you're not going to notice how that affects you until 2-3 years down the road, when all of a sudden now you're getting college applications and people want you to come to their different schools. You didn't see all that happening when you first started, but later on you saw it.
Right.
Yeah. So you got something you want to add?
I say don't give up your vision. Don't give up your mission. Hey, if you have a purpose in life, make it happen. You want to go to college, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, you want to just be able to work at the plant. That's on you. You have to figure out what it is that makes you happy, not what someone's telling you to make you happy. Where you get sleep at night. Where you said going to college, I went to college. And it's a great thing to learn and continue to learn. But like you said, something about the millionaires and billionaires, a lot of them will tell you they dropped out of college, or some of them don't even got high school diplomas. And it was layers and layers of things they went through to get there. They didn't just start off as nothing. They started a business. And some of them, they did so good in business, or the business were so much trending and so much different avenues that got them through a lot of customers, got them where they needed to be at. And they end up selling their businesses for millions and billions of dollars. So if you have a vision, a mission, a purpose in life, I tell you, if you're not hurting anybody and you're not hurting yourself, don't let nobody stop you. get you a college degree, or whatever you feel makes you happy in life. You got to figure out what makes you happy. And if you got good advice, the brother always got good advice. It's always good to follow good advice.
There was Renee Good out in Minnesota, and Trump had ICE kill her, and this fool that still sits in the White House is very simple-minded, but he had this woman killed, and now they got to figure it out. It reminded me from that movie A Time to Kill with
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
And a little girl.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I look at it and I say, hey, you know, chickens coming home to roost. It happened. On one extent, looking at it from a God perspective, I'm glad it happened, because these people need to see their injustice. It amazes me how we've had all these school shootings, the Uvalde, the one out in...
It seems like they have escalated.
It's been so... the one that was out in Maine or somewhere where all the kids years ago got killed, and they wasn't interested in doing anything. But just like back in the civil rights, when they saw them coming across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and then all of a sudden when they saw the dogs biting and ripping and tearing at the people, and all of a sudden folks had something to say. And it amazes me, after all these people have gotten killed, deported, put in U.S. concentration camps, that it took for one woman to get killed, all of a sudden people start to change their minds on the food in the White House. But it's a good thing that she was killed. It's a good thing that Trump had her killed, because a lot of people decide to, all of a sudden the light is on. They see something. And so, you know, it's one of them things. It's like when a sacrifice, you know, like y'all read the Bible and you read about somebody or something getting sacrificed, and y'all say, oh, God is good and great. I wonder if y'all saying that now. You know, because the same God that you worship is the same one that allowed Trump to get in the White House. He allowed Trump to go deport all these people and kill all these people. The same Jesus that y'all pray to stood by while Trump was just being chaotic and chaos. And I'm glad that he finally woke up about Greenland, because I was watching the video and there was a woman from Greenland, and she has a lot of melanin in her skin, and she was like, we don't want to be a part of the U.S. Healthcare is free. I said, she said she didn't want the BBLs and the big lips and they don't want the $100,000. Money doesn't mean all that to them. And I'll be happy when we get to that point. But for a lot of us to get to that point, you have to be okay. And what I mean by being okay, when I was young, growing up at home, we stayed right here in Detroit on Apple. My father kept the lights on. He kept food on the table. We didn't worry about losing the house. The only time our power went out was when there was a storm and it knocked the power out, and DTE or whoever it was back then had to come fix it. But as a child, I was okay. And certain basic stuff in life, I didn't have to worry about. And for us as a people, we have to get to a spot where certain basic stuff in life we're not worried about. When our children, when the Jews' children graduate from high school, they already know their next step. Their family has already planned and making sure that they're going to be all right. They're not worried about going to college if that's what they're going to do. They're not worried about paying for it. They're not worried about their next meal or washing their clothes. And we as a people got to get to that simple next level. You know, because my father also pulled me aside, and he's in his 80s. And so he said, I got some things, and I need to pass it on. He said, do you know anybody to be interested in doing it? And I took a deep breath and I said, yeah. I said, me. And the responsibility passes like that. So then now he's going back and dealing with some folks to get stuff adjusted for me to take the responsibility of our family in a sense. And you have to be ready for those. I'm 52, so if you're in your 40s or 30s, notice when you're getting around your 50s and your parents getting older, expect to have that conversation. If you're responsible, if you're the reliable one that they can go to, you know, it's a little stressful knowing that, hey, now I gotta put on my big drawers and I gotta do the job that he used to do. I used to could go and I could just be a kid and enjoy, but now when I go, he might not be there. He might call me on the phone and say, I need you to take care of this and that and such. And then I gotta go and do the ripping and running and go talking to folks and do the business deals and all this stuff that he used to do. That all I had to do was just stay there and just be like, he'd be like, take out the garbage, okay. Go cut the grass, okay. You know, simple. But now I gotta go talk to the people and the man down the road who know how to grade the whole road and, whoo, Lord. So, you know, it's a little something on you, but responsibility, I knew it was coming. It went from his uncle to his grandfather. I mean, to his father. And then it went from his father to him. Now from my father to me. And so when that generational wealth comes to you, are you going to be prepared to handle it? Are you going to know how to talk to other people and ask questions? I know a lot of y'all been in the church and they tell you, you don't question God, you don't ask questions, but you're a fool if you don't. You know, it would be like me being in this radio station with Henry Tyler and I'm having a question and then the preacher tell me don't question Henry Tyler. He been here for what, 40, 50, 60 something years and I'm not going to ask him a question? That would be a fool. But, you know, when you go to church, a lot of time the preacher is a fool and he's teaching fools. And so you don't know to ask. You don't even have a form. I had went to Jehovah's Witness one time. My cousin, she's Jehovah's Witness, invited me. And their service was the best. Now, I ain't pushing nothing. But at the end, they have a part where you can ask questions. And I thought that was good because they don't do that in the church. And, you know, I can't speak about other places, but they don't do it. So, but being able to ask a question, we as a people have to get to the point where when our children ask us something, or someone asks them, just because you don't know, you don't get offended and you don't try to make them look small. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Guess what? You can Google it. You can go on YouTube.
That's
But
right.
a lot of people will stand there and they'll try to use the knowledge, the limited knowledge of what they have in their head to answer the question. If you're asking me how to get to Virginia and I clearly don't know, I'm gonna either tell you I don't know, you can ask someone else, or I'm gonna look it up some kind of way. But just to come up there and just start guessing and going off of what you believe. What you believe is obviously something that you don't know, because if you knew it, you wouldn't believe it. And so
That's right. You
Did
got
you-
to know.
did you have anything you want to say or add to that?
Oh, yes. I'm ready to take the baton or whatever's next. Like you said, your father came to you. My family came to me, and I'm going to take on the responsibility of whatever it is to continue to go into the generational wealth. Yes, So that's why I was speaking about the vision, the mission. If you have not started, you should have been started. And so let's start. Somewhere someone has to be responsible. Just like he said. Right. Did you want me to repeat you? Because you're right. That's on point.
No, if
it
you're
must
gonna be,
happen. Someone must be ready to do it.
And to be responsible, you have to take accountability of your mistakes. You have to look at yourself and say, dang, does this person have a point when they are critiquing me? And 9 times out of 10, the person from the outside critiquing you is telling you something that can help you. Because if I sit over here, now y'all can't see it, but the queen is sitting right across from me. Now, for all you people who don't like to be criticized and don't like to be critiqued, let me show you how dumb that is. She's looking at me. And then if I say to her, which a lot of y'all don't, but if I say to her, how do I look? Do I have coal in my eye? Is there drool on from sleeping? Is my hair messed up? And she starts to tell me, it would behoove me to listen. If she said, oh, wipe your nose, you got something, it would behoove me to listen. Now, she may not be right, even though she's looking at me and I can't see myself. She may not be right in everything she say, but I should have enough common sense to know to keep my mouth closed and hear her out. And then I can make adjustments. I can go in the mirror and look and say, okay, well, she right about this. She was wrong about that. But guess what? She was right about this, and this. 4, 5, 6, 7 other things. So don't be afraid to be critiqued. Don't get offended. Don't get your emotions all up in it. Because what they're doing is helping you. I went to the barber today and he shaved me up. And when he got done, I got up and got out of the chair. Now I got to talk to him about something that he did, But for the most part, he did a good job. And, we have to be adults. You have to stop being a child of God. You have to grow up. I'm a child of my father, but I'm not a child.
That's right.
But something that y'all don't see is when I get around my father, all he mainly sees is the child. Because around him, I can be that. I can let my hair down. I can relax. I can be a kid. I can jump up and down. And because he's the responsible one. He's the parent. He's always the parent. I'm always the child. But when I get around my grandson, he see a different side of me. He don't see the child. Or my son, he don't really see the child. A little bit when I'm in a good mood, which is most of the time, But my son sees me as his father. Now, my son is 26. And then there's guys I work with that's 20, 22. They don't see me like that. I can be just as frank as with anybody else. But when I get around my children, they see the parent. They don't, even though my friend at work is 20 years old and my son is 26, some of the stuff that I say to that 20-year-old at work, my son, we won't have that conversation. Because I'm talking to him, the guy at work, on a friend level, on a sociable level. And then I also realize he's young, so there's certain things he need to know and he don't need to know. Or she. Go ahead.
Now,
I thought you had.
I do have 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they are becoming more responsible into stepping into what it is that I actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And on different levels, though. One may be here, one may be there, and then one might be right here. But they seem like they all learning exactly what the generational wealth is. So I'm giving them time, and I'm feeling great about the things that have transpired because I know there's potential. It's potential. Excuse me, potential. It can right. And in the beginning, 2 years ago, I thought all was lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as things progressed,
Yeah. As people evolve and things happen in their lives and they see how the world and how the government going, people have to make changes and adjust to their surrounding. So that's a part of that growth. As you look around and you see certain people in your life pass away,
yes,
and you see certain friends that you don't deal with anymore. And a lot of times it's just because we're growing in different directions. It's not even something mean or malice. It's, you know, I have a sister, she got children, I got a life. You know, she
Right.
got things she got to, and you just go your separate ways.
yes,
And the people who are around you, what I've found out is that I only need one person to have my back, one person to be there, one person to go on a cruise with. Because I ain't taking a bunch of people. I ain't paying. If I got to pay, I ain't paying for 3 or 4 other people to come. One person to ride in the car with me when I go see the pyramids in Missouri. I don't need a whole bunch of folks, you know. And you find out that some of those people who haven't grown are still hanging around the liquor store and on the block. If you take them, then you have to pay for them. So you might as well take a 2-year-old.
you sure right.
Because they decided in their life they didn't want to grow. And then at the same time, you know, I got a cousin right now I grew up with, and his situation ain't good, and you know, I still think about him, and you know, it's somebody that's on my heart. And you know, I want him to do better, but I can't make him do it. He has to do it for himself. But even when he get out of his situation, you know, I always got a word of advice for him. Something, you know, to try to help him, you know, do better. Because, you know, when you have people and they like a little brother or a little sister, I mean, it is what it is. And sometimes not giving someone something causes them to grow out. Someone had recently asked me for $4,000. And I could have gave it to him. But they had put themselves in this situation twice before. And they didn't have to. And so I didn't. So I let them, they mad at me. But I let them go through that heartache of not having, of being out there. Because they needed to go to the next level and not do the same thing they've been doing. And then, come bail me out. Come bail me out of this situation. No, sometimes you need to sit in that situation and realize it. Some years ago, my leg was hurting. It was a disc in my back. And for 2 months, July and August, I was at home on the floor with my legs up, watching TV for 2 whole months. Just to get up and go to the bathroom was painful. This nerve was hitting. It wasn't a sciatic nerve, so if you know what that is, it was worse than that. And eventually after a while, I got a little bit better and I was able to go get things fixed. But sitting there for 2 months, thinking about my life, thinking about moving forward, it gave me a lot of time to reflect. And sometimes that's what people need. When they going through that heartache, when they going without, to reflect on what they're doing. I was talking to this lady the other day, and her sister always asks her for $500 every month. She said her sister get more money than her, but she don't know how to manage her stuff right. So like the middle of the month, she done spent hers, and then she asked her for $500, and she loaned it to her. And then at the end of the month, when she get her money, she give it back to her every month. So this is just a repetitional thing. And I told her, I said, you going to have to love your sister enough, which a lot of y'all won't do, not to give it to her. Let her go through those extra 2 weeks without having. Let her see what it really, so now the next month, her mind will open to budgeting her money. Whether she do it or she don't, sometimes they have to go 2-3 months until they actually kick in and say, hey, I got to figure out another way to do it. And then if she calls her sister up and her sister give her advice and you can do this and you can spend this like this and what you got going out, start working through her with a budget and her own finances, her sister will be helping her more just by talking to her and telling her how to make it month to month without being broke on the 15th. That will benefit her sister and is a whole lot more and is a lot more love than her just giving her $500 every month. Because one day the older sister might die and that 500, but it's how much you so-called love the person that you care about. Can you say no when they need to hear no?
Oh, yes.
Can you stand firm on that no when you done said it? Or you just gonna cave in and get into your feelings and
Right.
and you gonna back off? Because a lot of times those hard lessons are the best lessons and they don't realize it until later. And man, I'm glad I went through that. When I was 12 years old, my father left me out on 12 Mile one time. And I didn't even know I was lost because out there, where is that? Burlington Coat Factory on 12 Mile in Greenfield or Evergreen or whatever, I don't know, but wherever Burlington is, and that big old complex, y'all remember back in the 80s, they had all kind of stuff. So I didn't even know I was left. There was so many stores, I was going in and out, in and out. Well, anyway, my mother ended up coming a couple of hours later, picked me up. Yeah, your dad left you out here. I wasn't even mad, but I thought to myself, I didn't get mad at him or nothing like that because I understood, okay, yeah, I walked off and he didn't know where to find me and all this stuff. Yeah, I thought about all that. But I thought to myself, I'm going to always be able to make sure I can get home. I said, if I go somewhere and I can't get home on my own, I'm not going to do it. So that was the lesson I learned. I wasn't spiteful at him, but going through that, I learned something. And it carried with me all my life. And the frugalness of that is to make sure that I always have enough of whatever it is, to make sure I have an exit in case something happened. If this happened, I can take care of that, if whatnot. If I got 4 children, if something happened and all of a sudden, and they're adults, but if I had to bring them all up here to live with me and they ain't have the means to do it, I'm prepared to do that. And we have to be in a better situation, and then you'll find out that all this money you talking about having, it really don't mean that much. It really don't mean that much. But you have to get there. A person who always paying a car note don't know what it's like to have a car paid off. A person who's always paying rent, and that's what they want to move this world to. So I do have to give Donald Trump credit on one thing. He's been there for 5 years, and he signed an executive order so the big companies can't just buy up all these homes and hold them and rent them out to. So I have to give him credit on that. I didn't think it was in the man to do anything good for anybody else. I just didn't think it was any. I mean, that just blew my mind. So Trump on that, hey, I give you credit, but you know how I feel about you, and you know what it is. It ain't changed. And so
Okay.
I'm still looking for your replacement. I'm working with a guy out in California, and we talking about replacing you because we know the Republicans, they ain't gonna have nobody to run because you're not gonna allow them, as they slave master. And then, the 5-year-old boy that Trump had kidnapped and took down to Texas. I think he took him down to Texas. His father and whatnot. They got him in ICE detention. That remind me straight up of Nazi Germany. And then Trump, you are German, and you do have Hitler's bloodline running through you. You are a Nazi, so that's the way I treat you. That's the way I see you. It's always gonna be. It ain't gonna change. You're incompetent. You're an idiot. The people, the flunkies who are backing you, your Mike Johnson in Congress looking like little Eddie Munster is kissing your behind left and right. But y'all got to remember, Mike Johnson is from Louisiana. Now, in Louisiana, Mississippi, those are the two poorest states in the Union. Now, the mindset of Southerners in Louisiana, of MAGA, of the MAGA Southern, is that they are at the top of the ladder and everyone else should basically be slaves. So that's why you take someone who's the 49th poorest, you put him in Congress to lead and to be over the purse, and he won't do anything because they're trying to get the whole country to the same status of Louisiana. There was a city in Louisiana where there was a lot of Moors who live there to this day. And they take their tax money and they don't build up the schools and build up the roads and build up the neighborhood. They take their tax money from these people that if they don't pay taxes, they're going to lock them in jail. And then they give it over to Israel, to the Jew. And that's what they do with their money. They won't give it to the people and build up their community. So we as a people, we are in a Nazi regime, and Donald Trump is the head of it. I call him Little Adolf. But the good thing about an individual who always do evil and lie is that, like a virus and cancer, it just eats upon itself. So, and it's messed up that our justice system here doesn't have anything to remove a fool before an election. We have to wait until November to vote. But I'm seeing this year as a lot of his wickedness going to start to come in and going to eat on him like that cancer. Because when you have politicians that are scared to speak up, but they feel one way, but they're appeasing their slave master in the White House, it eats at them. And then they want to try and go get elected, go to the people and say, hey, vote for me. And what did you do? You did absolutely nothing for 2 years while you sitting in there except the bidding of Little Adolf.
Right.
So, you got something to say, Queen, about anything?
Well, Monday we were at the Fox Theater with a bunch of politicians.
Oh, what happened Monday?
And they gave out the Jesse Jackson Rainbow Push Awards, celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday. I was there with the UNIA. Hey, UNIA.
Okay. Was Jesse Jackson there?
No, he's not feeling well.
Good. He should go on and die because he's a waste of time.
Oh, my God. Why would you say that about one of our...
Well, everybody got to die, right? Pick one person on this planet and die. No, everyone that looked like me is not my friend. I went to King Elementary School. I went to Guest Middle School. And I went to Oak Park High. Now, every time I ever had a fight with someone in that school, guess what? It was someone who looked like me. So everyone that looks like you, would you say Clarence Thomas is a friend to us?
Everybody
Okay.
don't look like me.
Okay.
You say everybody look like you.
So,
the people
but
I
I'm,
fought,
but I'm
not
saying,
one of them look like
you know,
me.
a lot of people, they don't like what I said, but then all of a sudden when I throw Clarence Thomas' name in there, and he's a person who done
Yeah,
made it
he's awkward.
to the Supreme Court, and he's not doing stuff to help benefit us, you don't say, oh, he with us, he one of us. So,
What do you call that? What do you label that?
what do I
Enemy to your own kind, enemy to your people. What do you call that?
enemy within the state? I mean, you know, but
Is that like a what is that? I mean, is that like a
well, it's also
a
from
mental block or something?
from what I look at of his life, he was mostly raised and surrounded by Caucasians. So if you take a dog and you put him with cats and he around cats all his life, he gonna think that. If you take a young man and he grow up with 6 or 7 sisters and then he come out the house and you wondering why he got feminine tendencies. You know, I had a cousin like that, had a bunch of sisters.
You copying them.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he see. That's all he know.
His mentality has
Yeah,
become that.
yeah. And then the groups and the folks that he's around. See, for some of us, it's damaging. Education and moving up in levels is damaging because a lot of our people are not in certain arenas. So it's like you see the basketball player or the football player, and he moves up. He's in college, then he's in the NBA. And then most of the people around him don't have a lot of melanin in their skin. So a lot of women that gets to be around him don't have a lot of melanin because he done moved up. So the sisters haven't moved up like that, the majority of them. So he will see them. So if you take a young man and you stick him in Germany, if I grew up in Germany and now all of a sudden you upset that I like Caucasian women, without realizing the fact that, hey, I grew up in Germany and that's all I saw as
Right.
a child.
I understand.
Duh. So, you know,
I understand what you're saying because I grew up around mostly military men and mostly well-to-do, upright, standing people in leadership. So I'm attracted mostly to people like that to stay around. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like when I tried to cross the track, and even because I couldn't even deal with Cabrini Green, my mother said, I'm from Chicago, the worst parts. But she left because of my mentality started that way. And she explained it to me not too long ago. So if you be around, you raised around, yes, you're going to, I've changed environments. You've been in the military. When you change environments, you tend to act like the people you're around.
Well, you grow too. You know, when I grew up here in Detroit, and then I went into the Army, and my first duty station was Bamberg, Germany. I was there for 2 years. While being there, went to Graf Hornsfeld, went to Spain, went to Paris at 18, 19 years old. When we go out, you don't have shootings, you don't have knife fights and all this stuff.
Right.
The environment is totally different. People go out and drink. They drink, people in the U.S. under the table, but they don't act a fool.
Burn the place down, shoot each other up.
Yeah, they're having a good time. I didn't drink because it never really appealed to me. And then my father didn't drink.
Right.
Well, he did, but he never drunk around me, so I never saw it. So it was never something. And I'm glad that all those habits of drinking and drugs and all that stuff that I didn't indulge as a young person.
Well, I did have a lot of fun when I was a teenager, but as I got older, I felt like it was a waste of money. Cigarettes and drugs and alcohol. And then I seen the worst of the worst coming up the street as I was little, because we came, went through Pueblo, Colorado and came to Pontiac. And boy, I seen, people with the big puffy hands and big puffy, might look like Skeletor because they didn't have a little bit too much crack and heroin in their life,
Yeah.
I seen it, but Me starting different environments made me realize what you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to not do that. And then I was the baby of 7, so I learned what not to do watching them screw
And
up.
we, as the righteous melanated Moors and people who are trying to do right, we're going to have to segregate ourselves from those people in our family and whatnot. I mean, you can help. It's like my cousin. I always got a word for him. Yeah, I got some food for him, but I can't hang out with you. A friend of mine was in the Army. He was a major, and one of our buddies on the block, he's a E3. So he went over to his house to visit one day. He stayed in a rough part of the neighborhood, folks around there with drugs and this and that.
Right.
And, we all grew up together, so he stood there and he talked to him for a little while, but he like, man, I got to get out of here because I'm going to get in trouble just being around here.
Right.
So.
The environment pulls you into it.
Yeah.
I know. So, but when you're like, I was married to military people or was with a military family, and they consider us to be military brats. But it looked like we about to
go.
Turn up and pull up next week at 4 p.m. on 107.5 at FM WGPR HD3. We see you next week at 4 p.m.
Peace out.
Love and peace. Peace and love.
Get the fool out the White House.
I was born off of 8 Mile in a little crib, and everybody off of 8 Mile, they did it like this. Yeah, come on, it's the Motor City Hustle. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, it's the Motor City Hustle. Yeah, come on, come on, come on. The Motor City Hustle. Yeah, we gonna do it like this. Let's go. Step to your left, step to your left, step to your right, step to your right. Back it on up, back it on up, back it on up, back it on up. Now slide to your right, slide to your right, slide to your left.